I'm Viola, and I'm 34, female. Oh, those were the good old days when Tristan and I were young and head over heels for each other. We felt like nothing could ever tear us apart. But as time passed, things started to fizzle out between us. We ended up feeling distant and worn down. To try and save our relationship, I brought up the idea of going to couples therapy. I thought it might help rekindle the spark we'd lost. But you won't believe what Tristan said. He pretty much brushed it off, calling therapy useless and a waste of time. As I started having doubts, I couldn't help but wonder if something else was going on. I had this gut feeling that Tristan might be cheating on me, and it was really bothering me, so I mustered up the courage to confront him directly. I needed to know the truth, even if it meant facing a painful reality. "Tristan, are you cheating on me?" His reaction was pretty much what I expected. A bunch of denials and him telling me not to worry. He tried hard to make me believe that I was just imagining things and that my suspicions didn't make sense. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something fishy was going on. As time passed, our home felt like a pressure cooker. It was like we were tiptoeing around, keeping grudges to ourselves and ignoring the problems we needed to talk about. Our once strong bond was falling apart, and it felt like we were getting more distant by the day. In the middle of all this chaos, I leaned on my sister-in-law, Lila. She's always been there for me, a trusted friend who had my back. I spilled my guts to her, sharing all my doubts and fears and hoping that she could give me some insight into what was happening. Lila, being the smart and understanding person she is, told me to trust my instincts. She said I deserved honesty and happiness in my marriage. Her words made sense to me, and they pushed me to dig deeper and face the truth. I was determined to figure things out and get some clarity. It was time to confront the doubts that had been bugging me for too long. My heart felt heavy, and I knew that whatever I uncovered might be tough to handle, but I couldn't ignore it any longer. I had to find the truth no matter what. Little did I know this whole journey was about to turn my life upside down. It was a wild ride filled with heartbreak, moments of realization, and a lot of self-reflection. But you know what? Through it all, I learned just how strong and tough I can be. While I was getting closer to Lila, Tristan and I were growing apart. Our relationship was just going through the motions, with less quality time and more shallow chats. It felt like we'd both thrown in the towel and settled into a routine. We were in our own worlds, not connecting at all. It was tough to accept, but it fueled my determination to find my own path to happiness. Lila became my rock, a real comfort in all the chaos. We spent loads of time talking, laughing, sharing our stories. It was like we created our own safe space, protecting me from the tough reality of my failing marriage. She was someone I could open up to without worrying about being judged, always there to support and guide me when I needed it most. As time went on, it became painfully clear that Tristan and I were drifting apart, and there was no turning back. I had to face the tough truth. He wasn't willing to put in the effort to save our relationship anymore. It was a heavy burden to carry, knowing I couldn't make someone love me or fight for us if they'd already given up. Amidst our falling apart marriage, I stumbled upon something that rocked me. I was doing Tristan's laundry one day and found a picture of him and a baby. He was holding the baby in the picture, and they were smiling. We never had kids together, and this baby didn't look like any of his nephews or nieces. So why on earth did he have this picture? It was a total head-scratcher and left me with loads of questions. Instead of immediately confronting him, I decided to be cautious. I didn't want to jump to conclusions and make things worse. I needed more info to get to the bottom of this puzzling discovery. It felt like a mix of curiosity and uncertainty, weighing heavy on my mind. I turned into a bit of a detective in my own life, investigating this mystery. I watched Tristan's every move, hoping to catch a glimpse of the truth. And the more I dug, the more I saw some shady stuff. Late night phone calls, secret talks, and a growing gap between us. It was becoming clear that there was something bigger going on than I expected. As I connected the dots, I felt a whirlwind of shock, anger and sadness. It was pretty clear that Tristan had been hiding from me for who knows how long. This realization seriously messed up the foundation of our relationship. I was overwhelmed by emotions and desperate. Against my better judgment, I couldn't resist snooping through Tristan's phone, hoping to find proof that my suspicions were wrong, but what I found left me speechless and my heart was pounding. Deep in Tristan's digital world, I stumbled upon a name that shook me to my core. Vicky. I couldn't help but open the messages, my heart racing with a mix of fear and curiosity, and with every word I read, the truth hit me like a ton of bricks. Vicky wasn't just Tristan's secret lover, she was also the mother of his kids. That's right, folks, kids, as in plural. I almost passed out when I saw this crap. This discovery hit me like a ton of bricks, stirring up a mix of anger and sadness. How could he keep such a big part of his life a secret from me? It felt like a deep betrayal that made me question everything I thought I knew about our marriage. To make things even worse, Vicky was just 20 years old, which highlighted the huge age gap between them. It disgusted me to think that Tristan had manipulated and deceived someone so young. It made me wonder about his character and moral compass. In search of answers and some comfort in all the chaos, I reached out to Vicky. We had something in common, the pain of Tristan's betrayal. With understanding and empathy, I offered her my support, knowing that we could find strength in our shared experiences. As we talked, I found out that Vicky had no clue I even existed. The revelation that our lives were intertwined shook her just like it did me. In our vulnerability, we found comfort and an unexpected connection. We made a pact to stand together, united against the man who had shattered our lives and our trust. As we uncovered the truth, Vicky and I grew even closer. We leaned on each other for support, sharing our stories and dealing with the tough emotions that came up. Through our talks, we discovered another layer of Tristan's deceit. He was a lousy dad. Vicky told me about how she was raising their twins all by herself, while Tristan stayed distant and uninvolved. My heart went out to her and those poor kids who deserved a better dad. It was clear that Tristan had messed up priorities, putting his own selfish desires ahead of his own flesh and blood. Finally, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. Tristan's distance from our marriage wasn't just because of our issues. He was juggling 2 different lives. It was hard to accept that I was just an afterthought in his complicated world. This revelation stirred up a mess of emotions, betrayal, anger, and a deep sadness for the love I thought we had. Tristan's actions weighed heavy on my heart, but they also lit a fire in me to seek justice and protect those hurt by his lies. Yes, it's true, I have been taking care of our children on my own. Tristan hasn't been very present, except recently when he started showing up more. I finally understand why he was so distant from me. He was fulfilling his fatherly duties while neglecting our marriage. I knew he resented me for not having his children. Don't blame yourself, Viola. His behavior is not your fault. He made choices, and he has to be held accountable. But it's hard not to wonder if things would have been different if we had children together. Maybe he felt like he needed to fill that void. Viola, you can't blame yourself for his actions. He's a grown man who made his own choices. This is on him, not you. You're right, Vicky. I shouldn't shoulder the blame. We both deserve better than this. We need to stand up for ourselves. Absolutely. Together, we can reclaim our worth and demand the respect we deserve. We won't let him define us. I'm grateful to have you by my side, Vicky. We can support each other through this and build a brighter future for ourselves and your children. Vicky and I spent a ton of time talking about what Tristan did, trying to piece together the whole picture. We connected the dots, figuring out the lies he used to keep two separate lives. Suddenly, his late nights, secret phone calls, and distant behavior made sense. In our shared pain, Vicky and I found comfort and strength in each other. We became like sounding boards, offering the kind of understanding and support that only someone who's been through the same kind of betrayal can give. Our talks were like a lifeline, giving us the guts to handle the mess of betrayal and find our self-worth again. Over time, our connection got even stronger. We pushed each other to stand up for ourselves, to demand the respect and love we deserved. We were determined not to let Tristan's actions define us. We were like warriors fighting for our own healing and justice. But lugging around Tristan's secret was just too much to handle on my own. Lila, Tristan's sister and my close buddy, deserved to know the truth about her brother's deceit. I wanted to be honest with her, to share my pain and let her into my world. I called Lila, my hands shaking, my heart racing. As the phone rang, I knew we were in for a tough talk. I needed her to know how much I was hurting, and I hoped that by being honest we would lean on each other and start healing. But what went down totally shocked me. Lila, I just found out something that I need to tell you about. Before you get into it, please tell Tristan to pick up the kids. I paused and she paused too. Why the hell did she say that? What are you talking about, Lila? What do you mean, pick up the kids? I didn't mean that. It was a slip of the tongue. And then it dawned on me. Of course! How could I have been so blind? No, Lila, I won't let you brush this off. Did you know about Tristan's double life? Lila took ages to respond to my question, and that was all the confirmation I needed. Wait, how did you know about his double life? So you admit that you knew? Unbelievable. Viola, I knew about everything, yes. I thought I was protecting Tristan. Protecting him? By keeping this secret from me? How could you betray me like that, Lila? I didn't want to see you hurt, Viola. I thought if you didn't know, you wouldn't be devastated. You don't get to decide what I can handle or keep from me. I deserve to know the truth. I deserved honesty. I thought you were my friend. Viola, please try to understand. I was torn between loyalty to my brother and my love for you. I didn't know what to do. You chose to deceive me, Lila. You chose to be complicit in Tristan's betrayal. I'm sorry, Viola. I never wanted things to turn out like this. I was just trying to protect everyone involved. Protect everyone? It seems more like you were trying to protect Tristan and yourself. You were enjoying our time together, distracting me while he played the devoted father elsewhere. Viola, please, I'm begging you to understand. I didn't want any of this to happen. I thought keeping the secret would prevent more pain. Well, you were wrong, Lila. Keeping this secret only prolonged the pain and shattered my trust in both Tristan and you. I called you to tell you about it, but never mind, I guess. Viola, please, wait. I was standing there, heart thumping with the truth weighing on me. Lila sounded shocked as she tried to wrap her head around what was going on. And then I just said, I already have his kids here with me. There was a long pause on the line, and I could tell Lila was processing what I just spilled. She clearly didn't see me digging up the truth coming. I told Lila that I'd already talked to Vicky and knew the whole story. And that was a shocker for Lila, who thought I'd never find out. At that moment, I felt like I had to hold my ground. I couldn't let Lila step in to mediate. This was something I had to deal with directly. No middleman. So I politely said no to her offer to come over and sort things out. It was time to face the mess head on and find the resolution I was after. Don't bother, Lila. You've done enough. It's time for Tristan to face the consequences of his actions. I hung up the phone, my heart racing. I was waiting for Tristan to show up, feeling a mix of nervousness and anticipation. Each passing moment felt like forever, with thoughts racing through my mind about how he'd react and what he'd say to explain his betrayal. I took a deep breath, reminding myself of the strength I'd found in this journey of self-discovery. Then I heard it. Tristan's car pulling into the driveway. My heart skipped a beat as I braced myself for the drama that was about to unfold. He came in through the door, and there he was, looking shocked and in disbelief as he saw the scene, his wife and the mother of his kids united in knowing his secret. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as Tristan tried to figure out what was going on. His face showed shock, guilt, and an attempt to regain control. But there was no turning back now. The truth was out, and I was determined not to be silenced by his lies anymore. This was the turning point. The moment when everything would change and the real state of our messed up relationship would be revealed. The room was thick with tension, and every moment felt loaded with unsaid stuff and unresolved feelings. I stood my ground, feeling strong and determined. I was done being a victim of Tristan's lies. It was time for him to face the music for what he did, and for me to start a new chapter, guided by self-respect, strength, and my love for my kids. Vicky, sensing things were about to get crazy, took the twins to another room to shield them from the mess. With a heavy heart and a voice shaking with anger, I turned my attention to Tristan. There was no more room for excuses or explanations. This was the moment when the truth was going to come out. Tristan, I trusted you. I believed in our marriage, but you shattered that trust with your lies and deceit. His weak attempts to defend himself didn't cut it. I'd heard too many empty apologies and promises already. I'm leaving you, Tristan. This crap, this betrayal, this double life you've been leading, it's unforgivable. It's too late for you to fight for us now, when you have countless opportunities to choose honesty and loyalty. I deserve better than this. Tristan's face showed a mix of desperation and regret as he finally grasped what he'd messed up. Please, Viola, I'll have nothing without you. I'll be alone. You have your kids. Now get out of my way. Tristan just didn't understand. He kept brushing off what I was saying and trying to argue, but I wasn't falling for it anymore. The years of feeling ignored and going through emotional ups and downs had really worn me down. I couldn't go back to a life filled with doubt and broken trust. It was time for me to focus on taking care of myself and moving away from the messed up situation that had taken over our relationship. Your actions have consequences, Tristan. I can't stay in a relationship built on lies. It's time for me to reclaim my happiness, to find a life where I am respected and loved for who I am. So I left Tristan there, dealing with the mess he'd made. It wasn't an easy choice, but it was necessary for my own well-being and my kids' future. After we split, I cut off ties with Tristan and even with Lila. I surrounded myself with supportive people who understood me while still keeping in touch with Vicky because of the kids. She filled me in on how Tristan was not doing well, going through a rough patch and neglecting himself. After our breakup, I focused on myself. I went to therapy to heal the emotional scars from our rocky relationship. My family and close friends had my back, giving me their constant support and love during this changing phase of my life. As time passed, it was hard not to notice how different our paths were. While I was getting stronger and finding my way, Tristan's life seemed to be falling apart. I heard through the grapevine about his money troubles, how he was blowing his resources on temporary pleasures and ending up in run-down motels. It was a sad reminder of the consequences of his choices and the road he'd taken. On the flip side, Vicky and I became really close. We bonded over our shared experiences and the goal of giving her kids a loving and stable home. She even called me their godmother. Despite the tough circumstances that brought us together, we found support and strength in each other. Vicky's determination and resilience was truly inspiring, and together we tackled the challenges of co-parenting with understanding and kindness. While the wounds from my failed marriage would always be a part of me, I didn't want them to shape my future. I embraced my newfound independence and enjoyed the freedom to make choices that made me happy and brought me peace. My top priority was being the best mom I could be, cherishing every moment with my kids, and teaching them about love, trust, and honesty. Life kept moving forward, day by day. The pain started to fade away and things began to get better. I made sure to surround myself with positive people and experiences that brought me happiness and a sense of purpose. It was like a fresh start, a new chapter in my life where love, joy, and fulfillment took center stage. Meanwhile, Tristan's life was going downhill. It was sad to see, but I couldn't let his choices and actions drag me down anymore. I had my own journey to focus on and my own happiness to prioritize. Looking back, I'm grateful for the strength and resilience that helped me rise above the ruins of our broken marriage and build a better future for myself.